Take a deep breath. Deep conversations are starting.
Welcome, welcome, breathers, to another episode of Deep Conversations by Breath Hub. I have a very dear friend with me, Brenda. I'm in New York, and I haven't seen her for a long time, so it's going to be more than an interview. It's going to be, I'm very excited. It's going to be very special for me as well. I'm very, very excited on learning what she's up to and what has been going on with her life. Welcome, Brenda.
Thank you.
My
you.
gorgeous, lovely friend.
It's so wonderful to see you, gorgeous. Yes.
Yeah, you look amazing. And I haven't seen you for a long time because
Yes.
of the whole, COVID
Yes.
pandemic. And she's a true New Yorker. So I'm really looking
Yes.
forward to hearing what has been happening in your life and how
Yeah.
was the whole situation with the pandemic. I
Mm-hmm.
think, it wasn't easy for any of us, but like I would like to learn how was your life and what was happening in New York and how was life like.
Yeah, well, New York is usually just so busy and it got so quiet. So in a way, for me, it's been really beautiful. I go out and exercise every day, and I have to say that I breathe every single day. And that is what changes my day. And, it's a little scary because, I live in a big apartment building and everyone crowding in the elevators, wearing masks, not wearing masks, a lot more
A
people.
lot of procedures. Huh?
A lot of procedures and a lot of rules going in the stores, people fighting,
Yeah.
a lot of angry people, a lot of homeless people.
Yeah, crazy times. And I'm sure our listeners and people who are watching us right now from YouTube would like to learn about your story about, breath work. And I know you have an amazing story. You also have an amazing healing story because you're someone who could literally heal herself with, alternative types of, alternative medicine or alternative methods. I would love to hear about your breathwork story.
So in 2014, I was in Eden Energy Medicine year 3, and I was practicing on people, and I started not to feel well, and I went to the gynecologist, and she said, "Oh, I need to do this test." I'm thinking, no big deal. And it turned out that I was diagnosed with uterine cancer. And it's really interesting when you're a healer, you think you would do certain things. If I had cancer, I'd do this. But when you get cancer, it's a totally different thing. It's sort of like, in a 12-step program, I think in AA, they say you don't know what it's like, how does one help another one if you've had it. So, you don't know how you're going to react. But for me, it was very, very scary and very startling because I did live a healthy lifestyle. I will say that one of the reasons I came to Breath, as you know, was because my sleep was off. And I think that contributed, during perimenopause and the hormonal change, my sleep would go off and it was like Groundhog's Day. Like every day at 4:30, I would wake up.
And it's very much aligned with breathing habits. Like I see a lot of people who have breathing problems and they're trying different techniques and stuff, but it's like it's the breathing. Like you need to relax the breathing. You need to calm down the breathing first of all in order to balance that sleeping.
Yeah, and you go to the doctor, and you talk to your doctors and they want to give you antidepressants to sleep. And I'm very sensitive to medication, so I can't take it. If I take a sleeping pill, by 3 o'clock the next day, I'm anxious, and the doctors don't want to hear that. So, I had to look for a different alternative.
Yeah, with medicine, like I was working on a blog article. I was asked by a magazine. It's kind of like prescriptive medicine, like it's not good or bad. It's like it has its benefits and it has its drawbacks. It's like if you're getting something into your body to change your chemistry and physiology, it is going to have an effect, after effect. It's like, you can't have healing without the sickness. So it's like it's going to cause other problems. And because you're aware already, you're a very aware person in your body, you realize it and you didn't want to get them.
No, and I remember going to groups after I had surgery, and I'd say I don't sleep well, and a lot of women with with gynecological cancers would say, I don't sleep, no one would say it, but then if you said it, everyone would say, I don't sleep well, I don't sleep well, I
Wow.
don't sleep well. And I would ask them what they would do. And most of them were on medication. So that's what the doctors do. They don't know what to do with them. I mean, I guess you could go, as a matter of fact, I did go for a sleep study. The day I took your first, it was,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so coincidence, but I was one of these people that there was no significant sleep apnea.
Yeah.
So I was one of those people who sort of fell in the middle.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there are a lot of people like that.
Yes, and I think that the waking up or the not being able to fall asleep becomes a habit, right?
Yeah.
A breathing habit, and we
Yeah.
have to learn to change that.
Yeah, and it is basically, why. It's like if you're breathing too much, and I mean, these are for our listeners, and because I've been doing a lot of research on different symptoms, or especially breathing-related symptoms, like sleeping disorders is one of them. Why do we have sleeping disorders? It's because we have a unbalanced breathing habit, which means we overbreathe throughout the whole day, which means we breathe too much. Like there are a lot of people who breathe too much from the diaphragm. They breathe too much into their system, and they're having a hard time calming down the breath. And like I hear a lot of teachers, or I hear a lot of people speaking about breathing, like diaphragmatic breathing is the best way to breathe. We should all be breathing from the diaphragm. Yeah, but if you breathe too much in the diaphragm, then you have sleeping disorders, because then you forget to relax the breathing. So that's, sleeping disorders, when you look at it from a breathing perspective, is because you are using the diaphragm too much. It's not like,
Yes.
and it is also very aligned with gynecologist problems. It's
And
interesting.
you have to look at your life. I mean, before I started becoming an energy worker, a breath coach, I was a recruiter. I was thinking about that today. I was constantly talking. I could have 6 lines at the same time. And when I was younger, my body could handle it. But over time, think about how
Performance breathing, and over breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, like you have more energy than anybody else. You do everything more and more and more, but then it's like you learn that habit of breathing more and doing more, and then you can't calm down and relax yourself. Yeah, like you're in that
Correct.
hyper state the whole time.
Correct.
And when you change your breathing, you can change that.
Correct. I mean, it's interesting because I remember going to the doctors, and I used to volunteer at Gilda's Club until the pandemic, and that's a place where people go who have cancer, and they have free programs. And I remember talking to a lot of people. When you have the doctor's appointment, you are for me, I get anxious. Maybe some people stay calm, but I'm a New Yorker. I'm a type A. No, definitely not. So, but I would do a lot of breath holding in the waiting room, and I would have a different experience with my doctors than before I was breathing. And I could be calm, and I could remember more, because it's very important to remember what you want to ask.
Yeah, because what happens when you overbreathe is the carbon dioxide level goes down,
Yes.
and then you have attention deficit problems or hearing and learning problems. And when you do breath holding, like stop, you raise the carbon dioxide. The
Yeah.
body just, no?
And,
Amazing.
with breath holding, there's 2 ways, too.
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
people don't realize that when you're breath holding, it's important to relax when you breath hold.
Yeah.
Because then you defeat the whole entire purpose,
Yeah,
number one.
yeah.
And number 2, a lot of people think of breath holding as on the inhale, but there's also a beauty on the exhale. And for someone going to a doctor, if they're anxious, you want to let go of that anxiety. It might be better to hold on the exhale if you're looking to bring something in.
Yeah.
Than maybe holding on the inhale. But I think a lot of people miss that. I call it almost like a pause, you
Yeah,
don't
like-
force the hold,
Just stop. And it's like, I think it's the hardest thing to learn, because you also got a lot of trainings on breath work, and you're one of those people now who have a more level of expertise on breath work and breathing. I think the hardest people for around breathing is to relax the exhale. It's like
Yeah.
the main problem, I should say, I've been seeing, having
Yes.
worked with tens of thousands of people.
Yes.
It's the exhale. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like many people don't realize that. They think it's the inhale or the diaphragm. No, no, no. It's the exhale. That's your problem.
Yes.
It's like not being able to relax. And that's the problem, behind sleeping disorders and attention deficit disorders. It's like we need um, rel we need to learn how to relax and calm down our system through using breath work.
Right. And what I find is, when some people say when they first start meditating, they hear all these, thoughts. And it's, when I start doing the breath hold, same thing happens. I feel that anxiety when I'm in the waiting room,
Yeah.
but then I stay with it. And there's this peace that comes.
Yeah.
Like it just comes, and it is so beautiful and it is so calming.
Yeah. And the beauty of breath, I think, is that right now where I am right now, and that's why we have been working on building the Breath Up platform. It's like breath itself is such a miracle. It doesn't even matter which technique you're doing, as long as you're consciously breathing. It's like just take some time and do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of breathing, and that's it. It's like you can try all kinds of modalities, but the thing is, once you're breathing consciously, once the breath kicks into your system, it is eventually going to change you. It's like it's eventually going to heal, because breath has such a wisdom. It is beyond our thoughts. It's beyond our perceptions. It's like you can't go wrong with breathing. People usually ask us like, which breathing technique should I start with? Or you have 1,000 breathing sessions in Breath Up platform. Like, which one? I'm like, anyone, just sit down and breathe.
You have to find what works for you, because everyone's an individual.
And it can happen naturally.
Yeah.
It's like you can find it yourself by trying different tools.
Exactly.
And
Trust your
modalities.
intuition. And if something doesn't work, try another one till you find the one that works for you.
And how was it? Yeah. And how was it for you? Like, what worked for you? And then I know you are also using other methods. And like, how was this whole journey of healing?
So what happened when I was diagnosed in 2014, I started doing a Tai Chi breath walk, every day. I was taught by my Tai Chi teacher. And I had been diagnosed in December 2014. I was scheduled for surgery April 2015. So every day I would do this walk. And I remember in January, I was thinking, wow, I feel like I'm getting better, And, when you're not used to dealing with doctors, I remember they tested me before I had surgery, and the doctor said, oh, well, it's better, but it's not good enough. But I didn't know the questions sort of to ask. And so I eventually went for surgery, and I got the report back. I had one done in February, and then when I had surgery in April, it said, well, there seems to be a discrepancy on the MRI. The invasion was much less than we thought it was. So I don't know how it was an 80% reduction from the original MRI.
Wow.
Yeah.
80% is a huge number.
Yeah.
Just by consciously breathing and conscious movements. It's
Right.
amazing.
So what happened was I was already an energy medicine practitioner, and that really helped me through the surgery too. I had people working on me. I did EFT before surgery because I had a fear of going under, and so I was so guided by angels, the whole way.
Yeah.
And so after surgery, I don't know how far. It was like 2 years. I saw your picture on the New Life Expo, and I just realized how much important breath was to me. So I came to the New Life Expo, and there you were, and it was amazing. And you were talking about the breath and the continuous breath, and then you were offering a workshop. And I came, and I have to say that I remember the first day because I had to leave early for my sleep study. I had to come. And I remember doing that session with you guys. You came, you were from Turkey. I don't even know if I could understand everyone, but it didn't matter, know. And I left there and I was so calm. I had this peace that I don't even know how to describe. I was running late. I don't know if you guys know New Yorkers, we're always running late. We're always in that anxiety. I only have 2 minutes to get there, And I was at so much peace. It was just like it was such a
Boom.
beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
And then I realized that this is what I need to incorporate with my work. You know, I need
Yeah.
to, you know, not only, you know, I can hold certain points in energy medicine, but if I do it with the breath, or just like we have in your, you know, different techniques to hold, they're just
Yeah.
amazing.
You know how I see it, like where breath is standing. It's kind of like, I think it's standing in the middle and on top of every holistic approach,
Yes.
because it's like you can do energy work, theta healing, and EFT, and this and that, or yoga, meditation. You can do all of that.
Yes.
Like, and breath work will be your ally. It's like when, especially first of all, if you're doing some energy work or yoga or whatever, meditation, you still need breathing to ground all that energy. So what happens is, if you're not consciously breathing, if you're not taking time for breath work and breathing, what you've been working on stays, like, you know, on top of your head
Yes.
somewhere. It just doesn't get grounded. And I think it is even risky for people to do energy work and meditation and this and that if they're not breathing, you know, in their bodies at all. Because it's like, and I don't know if you did research around this, but like there are hundreds of people, and there have been researches around that, like meditation teachers, gurus, like dying early because they are in this realm of meditation, but because they don't ground that energy, they can't anchor themselves in this body, and they can't. And if you can't anchor yourself in this
Yes.
body, if you're someone listening to us right now, you know, an energy worker or meditation teacher, or, you know, whatever holistic approach you're in, or, you know, as a teacher expert, or, you know, as someone who's using, it's like with every approach, with every holistic healing, we need the breath to anchor us into this body and get everything into this body. It's like breath work is kind of like the magnet of, you know, bringing your practice into here and grounding. It's like we all
Yes.
know the importance of grounding. When you don't ground that energy, we have all kinds of problems. And maybe what you experienced as cancer and the health problem,
Right.
maybe it was because of that, because you were in that high energy frequency,
Oh, definitely.
but like couldn't ground that into this body. And then your body was saying, you know, hey, I'm here. You know, I need that grounding. I need that energy in my system.
Right. And when you don't sleep, you do become like a different person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the other thing, as you were speaking, what I was thinking of is that with the breathing also helps you get in touch with what's going on in the subconscious.
Yeah.
And so I love adding the affirmations with the breath, because I used to do the affirmations and they were in the head and they
Yeah.
didn't, you know, I was thinking today, you know, like a lot of people say, well, you are what you think, and which is true. But if you're stuck in a cycle, sometimes, you know, you have to do something to get yourself out of that cycle.
Yeah, and also how much you change your mind. It's like I've been working on the mind level for a long time, and I've been using different methods and modalities. I've been working with amazing teachers. And it's kind of like you can work on your mind. And I've seen people, like, you can work on your mind, and then there can be a transformation in the mind. You can have a clear vision. You might be very clear on a mission and all that, but you might still not be able to ground that and experience that in your life. It's like people do transform their lives. It's like when I listen to an individual, it's like when they speak, like from the vision point of view, and they're clear and they clearly work with their mind. It's like they're very clear, they have clarity in the mind. But when I look into their lives don't reflect that clarity. And because they couldn't ground that energy, it's like it's so important, and breath is the only thing that can do that. It's like, okay, you get it in your mind, but how about your life? It's like you get that you are part of this universe, you are part of this one unconditional mind and this consciousness. Then why are you not experiencing it in your life? It's like, why are you not experiencing it in your relationship? Why are you not experiencing it with your relationship with money and business? It's like, I usually tell people, that's why you will remember, I tell people, like, awakening is not what you think. And in my book as well, because it's like many people understood that, like we got that we're part of the whole universal system. We got that we are not this body and we are beyond that. But it's like if you really got that and grounded that energy, then you shouldn't have any money problems or business problems or relationship problems or health problems. You know what I'm saying? It's like if we really got that and grounded that, our lives change. So it's like I see breathing as kind of, that's why I call it an ally for everything people are doing, like for the coaching industry and the self-development industry and the, mind transformation industry. Like I see people who've been doing, the work by Byron Katie, DeMartini method and that method and this method, working on their judgments, working on their perceptions. But because they're still stuck in their breathing and because they couldn't ground that energy, I see they got it in the mind, transformed their minds, but this thing didn't transform. They still have, weight issues and health issues and relationship issues and business issues, whatever. I think.
And as an energy healer, sometimes someone will say, I'm doing really well, or, they'll do these affirmations and I can feel, I can see it in
I
their
think it
body.
shows in your life.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's
life
also,
reflects where we are. Like life will always reflect, our lives will always reflect the level of our consciousness. So until you look at your life and you see that your life is working, although you got it in your mind, you clearly didn't ground it. So there's still a breathing issue. And if you practice breath work every day for a couple of minutes even, you could just go beyond that.
I mean, I will tell you that I've been doing this every morning for 15 minutes, and it changes the day. It just changes your outlook. It's amazing. I mean, for me, I can't say what works for other people, and I think also it's grounding, and it's also going from the head, to the heart also, so, which is really important for people to open that space too.
Yeah, to receive life and to receive love and to ground it, And now I see you have a very clear and beautiful energy, and you're probably sleeping well.
Yeah, I do sleep so much better. I really sleep a lot better. It's amazing, and it's more than the sleep. It's just during the pandemic and all the fear and everything. Just to be able to practice and be at peace and work on different techniques, during this time, what's going to work for different people.
Yeah. What's your plan for the near future?
Well, eventually I'd like to, probably right now I'd have to set up on Zoom. What I originally wanted to do was I wanted to go, into the complementary medicine in the different cancer care units in the city and maybe teach different kinds of breathing like I did at Gilder's Club, and and what I usually do in a group is because everyone is an individual, so I could do a continuous breath and someone can get anxious, and you need to tailor it, and that's the main thing, one size does not fit all for everyone. Even in a continuous breath where you continuous breathing, it's an active inhale and a passive exhale, but maybe someone's holding on to a lot of stuff and they need to do, an active exhale and a passive inhale in order, you have to let go in order to take in. And so I would really like to help because, when the last time I was at my oncologist and I told him I wanted to do this, he goes, oh, please do this, because they don't know what to do with all the anxiety from the patients, it's very hard.
Breath work and breathing can just heal it. It's like it can fully transform it, like anxiety, panic attack, and
make your outlook different, right? Possibilities of healing, staying with that, and that can be hard when you're in with certain kinds of doctors. It definitely can be.
This is not to say like I usually say, like prescriptive medicine is bad or doctors are bad or whatever. It's like there is a tool, even knowing that, like there is a tool which is the scientific way of being well, and you can use that tool. And it is not like a psychological tool like meditation. It is a physiological tool because breath work literally changes your chemistry and physiology. Like sometimes I think people, when they think about breathing, they just think about some kind of like a relaxation, or it's kind of like breath has a huge healing power because it does the same thing prescriptive medicine does. It
It does.
changes our chemistry, it changes our physiology. It doesn't change our psychology directly. And I am a strong believer that psychology is a byproduct of our physiology. I believe, because I've been seeing that for many years now, like if you don't have a healthy physiology, no matter what you do on the psychological level, you go back to depression and anxiety and panic. It's like it starts with physiology. We are physiological beings first, and then psychological beings. So let's start by, that's why people are having a hard time, practicing meditation. That's why people are having a hard time calming down. That's why people have sleeping disorders. Let's first start by changing our chemistry and physiology and then go into meditation. It's like meditation is
Yes.
great. I've been doing meditation for over 20 years, but I wouldn't be able to practice meditation for over 20 years if I haven't worked on my dysfunctional breathing habits. It's like it's so hard to keep on, trying to meditate and calm down the mind. It's like we need to understand that we have issues from the past, and those are like on the chemical level, on the physiological level, on the genetic level. We first need to transform those energies in order to be able to meditate or heal ourselves or whatever. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
especially during COVID, when it first came and you're in a dense city with a lot of people, we were the epicenter. And I keep saying, if I didn't breathe every day, I don't know where I would be and the thing is, I do meditate, but after I breathe, because it
Yeah.
makes it so much easier.
Yeah, it does.
You're just so calm, and then you can really take advantage of
go
that
deep into
meditation.
meditation. So the breath work is the new meditation, guys. Thank you, Brenda. It was lovely speaking
Yes,
to you. I
thank you
missed
so
you a
much.
lot,
I
so
missed
I'm
you
like very
too.
glad we did this.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. And thank you all, our listeners and people who are watching us right now. And we will see you in the next episode. So by the way, if you're asking to yourself, how do I do this? How do I practice breathwork? Just go ahead and download Breath Hub and start practicing breathwork every day, like every other day, every flipping day.
Every day,
Every day, just 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It's going to change your meditation practice, your whole life. Anxiety will go away, panic attack, sleeping disorders, well known, more than 200 symptoms, scientifically proven.
I think my sleep was out for at least 5-6 years, at least.
Yeah.
And then once I went through your workshop, that was it. Yeah.
Breathing, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anybody who has sleeping disorders, download Breath Hub now and start breathing right away. And if you're living in New York, find Brenda, find one of our breath coaches, and also have some breathing sessions yourself, but do practice it every day, because change comes by practicing it every day. So that's kind of like the main rule. And as you do it, like the first day, the second day, you will love it so much, you'll go ahead and do it every day. Thanks for watching. See you in the next episode.
Thank you.